And all teams will be coming up against the Rosehill football team, the defending champion. Registration fee for senior teams, $400. And on the 17th, you enter free. All teams will be able to register 20 players. And all players' uniform must be numbered. No unauthorized vending. To register, contact 538-7509 or 416-9580. One game will be played on weekdays and two games on the weekends. Game kicks off from 7 p.m. Kicks off Saturday, February 8th and ends on the 3rd of May, 2025. Idol Cities, football on the line.
You're mentioned for program with CJ and Jester. CJ and Jester. Carrico, Petit Martin, the rest of Eastern Caribbean, Asia, Africa, North America. Good morning to all our Take 5 fans. Good morning to you, Mr. Moreland. How are you?
And good morning to you, Clay. I'm all right. Good morning to the listeners and viewers of Tick 5.
We do have a prayer person calling right now, so we're going to take that call. Good morning to you. Good morning.
Good morning, CJ.
How are you?
I'm blessed.
Go ahead when you're ready. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning to everyone. Heavenly Father, we just want to lift up your name. We want to exalt your name. We want to give you all the praise from the rising of the sun to the setting of the same. Your name is to be hallowed. You are Adonai. Even as we come before your throne of grace this morning, you encourage us to come with boldness and confidence and assurance that you're going to hear our prayers. God, we know we are sinners and we all fall short of your glory. So we ask for cleansing and pardoning as we come this morning. We don't want to I don't want to make myself feel like I'm better than anybody else. But God, I want to thank you for your grace and your goodness and your forgiveness that has been applied to my life and those who really know you in a real way that has been also applied. Father God, we just want to bring CJ program to you with Jester and the other guests, whoever they might have this morning. God, we want to bring this program to you, Lord, that you will have a full rule and control, guide them in their deliberation, everything they would say and do may be to the upliftment of us to us as a nation and as a people, oh God. We pray that even as they go through mental depression and other things, there are a lot of people who are going through this. And sometimes, as we always normally say, a thin line between sanity and so on. And God, we just pray that, Lord, all our stress, all our burdens, all our frustration, we can cast it upon you because you care for us. This morning we pray that you will recognize that there's somebody bigger, somebody greater than us that we can, even as the songwriter say, what a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege we have to take everything to you in prayer. And Father God, we pray today that you will let the peace of God rule in our hearts and in our minds and in every situation. Whatever might be coming up against us today in the mighty name of Jesus, you are more than able to help. You said, is there anything too hard for me to do? There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing impossible. Everything is open and bare before you. We cannot hide anything from you. So this morning we pray that you strip us away from our selfish desires and whatever we have, oh God, and we will humble ourselves and call upon you and receive that healing, that blessing, that restoration, that broken relationship, fellowship we so sometimes have with each other, Lord, where we have ought, Lord, and we fail to forgive. Grant us that spirit to forgive, because it said if we want to receive forgiveness of you, we must forgive those who we can see. And if we cannot forgive our brothers and sisters, how much more would you forgive us? And God, we just pray that you lead us to a place where we can live with peace with each other, friendship, unity, Lord. And this morning, God, we just bring every situation to you this morning, and we ask you to take full control. Your name be honored, your name be glorified. In Jesus' name, amen.
You're hearing us now? Are you hearing us now? Tell us if you're hearing us now.
Sure.
Yeah, he's hearing us now. I think he is hearing us now. So, Daphne Dayton family are going to enter that Ethan, Arlene, Olivia, and Daphne. But they already said good morning to the Hill Street people. But once, sometimes it's nice to do it twice. Good morning to Celia and the gang of the Carries. Good morning. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope I'll see you sometime today. Hola, Vachi. Good morning. Oh, that's buongiorno for you. NP, wherever you are, good morning to you. Good morning to Laura Bena, then to you. Mary, Chance the Game 97, good morning. Good morning to Junior, other on the Grand Town between the pop, as we normally say. Alvin Harris in New York. I told you already there. Duchess, good morning. Good morning to Mr. Nicholas Snag. Kenro, good morning. Bandy, good morning. Pat Pegg, William Pegg. And Hubby Pegg, good morning to you. Good morning, SPW. Good morning to my friend in Mamouche Lane. To the horticulturist out there. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. Antonia Francois. The Casual Tree people, good morning to you. Good morning to you, listener. Hope all is well. I know that you're listening. Sylvie, good morning to you too. Anne Bernard, good morning. Radio Man, good morning to you. Good morning to Sherry or Sharon St. John out there in Maryland. Good morning to Wendy in Toronto. And a special good morning to my boyfriend, my childhood friend, my school friend, my everything, Pat Augustine Belfon. Good morning. Did you know that he's here, Jester?
I did not.
Well, he is here. I saw him yesterday and again because he said, "You're so small." He just picked me up. I said, "Put me down."
Right.
But then he's about about 6'4".
In height.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a very tall guy.
Tall guy.
Right.
His sisters really, well, they come from both tall parents.
Yes, his father. His father was
Yeah,
a
and
very tall man.
his twin sister is really tall too. So you think that he has the right to just pick me up and say, "Put me down," because I don't know if I never tell, well, most people know, but I don't like to be listed from the ground. Eh?
So you mean like Pat and Norma is here together under the
Twin spin.
under the same roof in Black Street?
Backstreet. No. That's not Backstreet. This is Mova. Mova. Yeah, Mova. Gotta love to say that. Good morning to you, Tommy. Hope all is well with you. Alistair says he's hearing us now, so I think last week we had we had a lot of glitch last week, just.
We had some hiccup.
We had some hiccup last week, but we sort of fixed it up because my sidekick here saved my backside yesterday when I put on anything. I know we had an issue last week, and I said, okay, so if this mic is not working, then let me check mine. So yesterday I checked it, and both of them were. I said, no, I called Jester. Find someone in St. George's. We need 2 kilo. I spoke to Spice from. Good morning to Williams at 107.5 out there in Grand Tang, Waves. Good morning also to Spice from at 94.9 New York. Green Noise FM. Spice, if you're listening, is Mama grinding this morning or she's home? Let me know. Good morning to you, Mama. Good morning to Anne-Marie Mitchell. Hope all is well. That's Chance the Game Mary's wife. They're all, you might be in this car driving her to work right now, but they're listening. Good morning to Cindy down there at Sherwin-Williams, and good morning to, what's his name? What's your name? The pain man. You want to mix my pain for me all the time. Good morning to you. He has close links to St. Patrick, so he would know who I'm talking about.
Play your wings, you're spreading your wings, girl.
Well, I didn't see you last week. That's since you started hanging out with me, you've become very popular. So you see, you're not the only one. Oh, man, spreading. No, but it's a good thing. Let me say good morning. Special good morning to my fitness warriors. Just happening. You should come. We're looking for a few good men to show them our regards. And you all think all you could walk out with us? Come on.
I don't think so. I'm not coming.
You're not coming? Why not?
No.
You're going to be sick? Well, Patty's going to come this evening and do a video of us so we can put it out there and let them see what we And every
I don't
day,
want to distract you all.
From what? You want that? Listen, the ladies there, let me tell you, those ladies there, they are good and they can work out. Let me tell you, it's no kind of we have our fun. You know, if I see somebody do something, I'll say, hey, what's going on in the bank? That's not what we are doing. Everybody crack up. I mean, back to, no, we're good. The Fitness Warriors are good. So if you want, anybody wants to join us at the park here in Plains from 5:30 to 6:30, you are welcome. We're looking for a few good men, and we're looking for a few good men that can really.
Well, they don't give them the days next
It
week.
is
They turn up on a
Monday,
day.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Now the ladies are asking for another day. And it's going to be the Friday also, but not Thursday. Thursday, I'm booked on Thursdays. I have something else.
I don't
Something
think
else.
Friday is a good
Friday
Friday.
is not a good day.
No,
That's the
Friday
weekend.
don't usually be a good day for
Right.
other things.
So we're working on it and see what we can come up with. But they didn't with on their Jester. I said to them, I said, you're asking for more days? All I'm hearing when you're working on, oh God.
Oh,
I mean, like what?
that's in the beginning of it.
Every day they're crying. Oh, Jesus. I said, no, not that. Don't point any of that. Just walk. But they're asking for more days because they're starting to see the results of what they're doing. So I think we have 2 new members. One came yesterday and one came Friday. So we are working on that. Like I said, it's open, it's free. But you know what I need, Jester? I need a mic, a small microphone, the clip-on microphone with the amplifier thing so we can, because you hear my voice and when it goes on when we are lying on our mats, they cannot really hear what I'm saying.
Oh, so you'd be hooked up to the Bluetooth.
Right. It is the Bluetooth, the green tooth, whatever tooth it has to be hung up to. I need a mic. So I don't know where I can get one and what's the price of it, but I am in search of a mic and I need it like pronto because the group is getting bigger.
And you and NP got one the last time.
She came from New York.
Yeah. Oh, she got it down here. I think she got it down here. She got it down here, I think.
Okay. So
I'll find out more about it.
if you have anybody that is coming, I need a mic for the clip-on mic for the color here. I need a small tripod to put up another camera, and I need another mic. So listen, I'm not asking for it for free. I'm saying this is what I need, and payment is gonna come. So work with me, my brother.
She's begging
No. Don't beg. No, I'm not a beg. If I need something, I will ask. I don't beg. And if I'm asking to get it now, that means I'm paying for it. I'm not beg. Listen.
Oh my gosh.
You always say I'm missing. I don't beg for things that I'm paying. For things I don't beg. I don't have time for this. I'm no beggar and I'm not going to try to be one of my
Oh my goodness gracious. Prayer, how was your weekend? Tell me about your weekend. I'll tell you about mine.
I don't know what my weekend was like. Well, the weekend was sad. Oh, I don't know. I can't help you there. I don't know what my weekend is like, honestly.
Yeah? Well,
my week go right through.
My weekend started off since in the middle of the week.
You had home day weekend, okay?
And it was all strenuous all on me. Let me tell you why. So last week Wednesday, right? So I did football commentary at Rosedale, and then the Thursday was Grenada SD Comprehensive Athletics Meet at
How was it
4.
for?
Well, they tried. Is not, I mean, for me, it wasn't there.
Okay.
They tried to, because everybody knew what the condition was like
Right.
for, so.
I was hoping that it didn't rain.
Yeah.
That's all.
But it
held up?
it came off. The games went on, so kudos.
So that was,
Yeah.
let's see, move along.
Right. So then the Friday, we had football again at Rosedale.
I know you have football. I tell you, I hear you from here.
But they didn't have no football Saturday.
Well, no, I didn't hear anything.
All right. So on Saturday, listen.
It was good then.
Saturday morning, I did cricket commentary.
Where?
At River Sally playing it. It was the semi-final, right, of the T20 being put on by St. Patrick's Cricket Council, right? The main sponsor of that was the Honorable Dennis Connor, who sponsored that. And so he had 2 matches. He had a first semi-final in the morning, second one in the afternoon. But I think the second one ended up not in the best of ways that he would have liked to. Nonetheless, Fountain, they was declared the top place winner. And then doing commentary on that Saturday morning, then I had to do the twilight at La Poterie.
How was that?
Yeah. Well, it had a bumper crowd down there, man.
That's
Seriously.
not the crowd I'm talking about. So.
Well, Of course, Claire, a lot of events goes on or it comes along with challenges, all right? So maybe there were some little hiccups in between, but all in all, people had fun. People enjoyed the sports because they had a number of visiting athletics club from different parts of Grenada, which was good. When you talk about clubs like South City, Rising Star, they have momentum, or very much with momentum. They recently been established in Victoria. Yeah, really. Yeah. You had finish line and then
Yeah, remember finish line.
yeah, yeah. So no, you don't expect that to happen.
Men don't
You
expect
don't
this
expect
is
that.
men don't expect that to happen because
Okay.
do not
Maybe I should take back my word on that. Yeah, maybe I should take it back.
do not take
Maybe
this
that
time for granted.
okay. Maybe that's what we
You need to work on
must
it.
try hard to do to try to get prom start. But as we stand nowadays, that would be a challenge. Not that we cannot get over it, but we'll have to change our modus operandi. You understand?
Trendy.
Yeah, yeah, to get to that level. Because
Because you know why? When they had it the last time, and I went, they said it was starting at 4.
yeah,
I got there about 3:30. 4 o'clock, nothing. 5 o'clock, nothing. 5:45, oh, we're going to be starting soon. 6 o'clock, 6:30, and let me tell you, so you know who I am with me and the time business, and when I
don't go over 6:30.
was full of actually, all of actually tell me if I like, plus myself and all of actually that was there at the time. And I'm saying to him, I said, what is this? We left our house at that time because they said it's starting at 4. And you know, we in North America, all the time works for us. So when they said to come, somebody starting at 4, I always like to be there on time. So that's why I asked, if it started on time because you had a whole year or more
No,
to get.
it is.
I love when I go somewhere. And you see, that's why I always talk about Dexter Mitchell and Calypso at 50. You were there.
Yeah.
And he said the event was starting at 6. And smack dab, 6 o'clock, the instrument on that band went off. And I'm like, I like him. You understand? When you're telling people to come somewhere to an event or to dinner or to a meeting, and then they just come any old time, you're disrespectful for one because the person that invited you there is waiting on you, or the event people, and they're waiting on you to start, and you have this late stuff. Let me tell you something. If I plan an event, right, and I said it's starting at 7, if I have one person in there, that event is starting at 7. We have to do better than that. And this is production for our country.
Yeah.
And to make
I
progress.
agree with you.
Because
We need to change our culture when it comes to time.
and that's
Time.
so we have no culture.
Well,
Because if you're gonna, and the thing is, like I say, if you travel, for
it may not be an appreciative one, but
but I'm saying as is. When you travel, and they said you have to get to work at 8 or 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, your latest thing is 10, or you starting at 10 and finish at 6. If you get there later than that, they're starting to mark you down, Jester. And they may not say anything, they'll give you a warning maybe the second time. The third time, they have the right to fire you because you got warning. So and the people that are always doing that, when they get to the places, they're chasing bus and train, because they don't want to be late to where they're going. So why can't we do it? Why can't we?
I'm not agreeing with you. So we ought to make a big difference when it comes to timekeeping, man. Right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I was telling you, man.
About you and tell me stuff 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
Quickly, let me wrap up my weekend.
Now wrap yourself to bed.
So
There's twilight. Move on.
yeah, the twilight, and then after the twilight, then the Sunday, we had the cricket final. Yeah, the afternoon. Congratulations to Montrose River Sally combined. They got the better of Redmond. Redmond people.
Fireworks. The corner.
I mean, when you sponsor that,
Me, the last time I did my hand, I had this good of my friend. What is this? I look at the window and fireworks like that. And let me tell you, same in the pavilion here, I got the best of everything. I hear you when you're advertising, when you're calling, calling football up there. I hear sometimes Universal, when they do the, according to where the good direction the wind is blowing and it blows my way, I hear things and then I see, I hear one going to talk about soccer going on my bed.
Okay, guess what, right?
I'm not guessing. Tell me what it is.
You know, are accustomed doing commentary in athletics, yeah?
Yes.
You know, football as well.
Well, yes. Tell me
But
something.
can't you believe I did cricket for the very first time? And there are a number of people that couldn't believe. When I told them it's the first time I was doing it, they couldn't believe
What did
I
you
was
say?
doing it for the first time.
I'm
Because let me tell you what, right? For some people might be fooled. I've never played cricket with the hard cherry.
the combo.
No, I've never played like the cherry, the leather ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always, windball has been my passion in growing up as football, windball. So I know
Not
a lot of the positions on the field where a fielder is fielding. So it wasn't that hard for me to do the commentary. So some people might be fooled thinking that yeah.
Here comes Noel running on the track.
Oh, yes. Because listen, guess what? I used to follow cricket well too. At least international cricket. Back then, television wasn't a popular thing, but in the days when West Indies used to be doing exceptional. Exactly. I used to be following. In fact, my radio used to be alongside me on my bed. So you know what I'm saying?
Love it because respirate and football.
Yeah, man.
Because they made me see the game.
Yeah,
And that's when you're having a conversation or you're doing something, you have to make people see what you're talking about. And then I take my good little self and go and watch cricket. And I'm like, what? This is it? The thing is as slow as molasses. And that day I get burnt in the sun. I said, I take all that sunshine for this. And I don't like cricket after that.
Well, maybe you want to, maybe it's test cricket too.
I don't know if it's test or wonder what it was. It was
where you look at it?
in the Queen's Park at the time. It was after the revolution. They had
Well, that was a one day international. How come you should have been?
I didn't like it.
Girl, what's wrong with you? I remember that game. I was at that game. In fact, that was the first one day international that was held in Grenada.
And what's his name? Marshall,
Malcolm Marshall, Jordana, Michael Foley, and Roberts.
I saw those guys. I knew who they were because I heard their names and then.
That day West Indies won that game very easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing that I was happy about.
Who did they play against?
I remember. Because
they played against India. Because I remember they got
Arvind Kalachuran and so on there.
Kalichona was playing? Nah, I don't think Kalichona was there. No, he wasn't there.
I don't remember who they
Lloyd was the captain of the team. Yeah, Clive Lloyd.
You see another name. I know sports, It's just that I don't like cricket.
But they got a good man very early. Yes, Sunil Kavasta. Like that dangerous, that little shot man was it, and they got him very early, man. Anyhow,
we're going to our thing.
Yeah.
So that was your weekend. Mine, I still remember what my weekend was. I don't have weekends anymore. I just go from Sunday to Sunday. I just go along nicely and just do what I have to do. Unless there's an event that I have to go to. Oh, my birthday was on Friday, That was my weekend.
Belated birthday.
It's okay.
Well, I did wish you already when you came.
Well, yes, I'm good right now from it. When
you told me about it, I remember all along, but on the day, sometimes that happens all the time, Yeah.
That's my weekend. I am very that again. I sat there and you know who had a birthday together with me? Chance to game 97.
Oh.
Very much. We were same month, same date, same year.
That's nice.
She just checked in, yes. So he called me, CJ. I said, yes. What are you doing? I said, nothing. He said, isn't your birthday today? I said, yeah. But it's mine too. I said, right. Yes. It was Mary's birthday on Friday also. I think in this world, there are more match people than anything else. But
there are some bad match people like that.
When you say you mean we bad, we good like that. When you say you're bad, I mean you're good,
Bad, I mean bad as in bad. The true meaning of bad.
Bad?
Yes.
Some, not all of them. I ain't taking part in that one at all. I good, man.
They're disgusted.
Well, it's all right.
Okay, let's move on, please.
So, okay, today's topic. I haven't seen Olabachi yet. Where is Olabachi? I haven't seen Jenny as yet. Chance. Okay, so today we're talking about our children For those of us who have them, those of us who are working with them, and for those of us who are planning to have them, or when we do have them, what we do. So it says from puberty to adulthood, adolescent development stages, and how we as parents can do to help them to navigate them through that chapter of their life. It says adolescence is a crucial period of growth and development that bridges childhood and adulthood, middle adolescence, and late adolescence. It's a time of significant physical, emotional, social, and cognitive changes. Understanding these stages can help parents, educators, and caregivers support adolescents as they navigate this complex period. This guide will explore the three main stages of adolescent development: early adolescence, middle adolescence, and late adolescence. So there are three phases in Jester. We've had three phases going through that one. We didn't know. We just go through one big phase. But
what did we know about that injury?
Another thing, and then we're going to talk about, and parents out there who are listening, and those of you who know parents, and those of you who are around children that turned into adults before they turn into adults, because it has three stages. It has the early stage, which is from the age of 10 to 13 years old, and the physical changes that it goes through. How old is your son at the moment?
My son is 12.
So he is in that bracket of early adolescence. And it says, during early adolescence, which marks the start of puberty, children undergo rapid physical changes. This period is characterized by significant growth spurts. For girls, physical changes include the development of breasts and the beginning of menstruation. Boys experience growth in their testicles and penis, and their voices start to deepen. These changes are part of the body's transition from childhood to adulthood, and they go through emotional changes. Emotionally, early adolescents often become more sensitive and experience frequent mood swings. And is that a lie?
No. And funny enough, a lot of the times in growing up, even when you probably went around other people's home, then you might find that a parent has to deal with a child in the home, and you might hear the scene. Since after you feel you get heavy.
Voice start to break.
Yeah. You feel this man, right?
Yes. But you see, and that is something that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
We as parents deal with that, because the children are as confused as it is, because they have no understanding as to what is going on with my body. I was good yesterday and today. It's like us women that go to bed with our legs nice and smooth. The next morning we get up, we see an orange pill, we see holding it, like, but what happened to my leg when I went to sleep? You understand? This is the same thing that the children that are going through adolescent stage of puberty that happens to them. So here are the social changes that takes place with them. They said socially, early adolescents begin to seek more independence from their parents and start focusing more on their peers as their friends and so who are around them. Friendship becomes much more significant, and they may form cliques or groups with similar interests. The influence of the peers grows stronger, affecting their decisions and actions. They start to value their friends' opinion more than sorry. They start to value their friends' opinions more and may prioritize peer relationships over family connection. And this is where we have to be very, very, careful and pay attention.
This is just so realistically.
It is.
It is just so realistic.
And now we as parents, we know a thing or two.
You're right.
About what's going on with them, because we've been there, done that. We see what's going on, all this research, and so that has been taking place around children that are going through puberty and stuff like that. We know what's going on now, so that we can really talk about it.
Exactly, because
we had no inclination as to what.
And that's what I'm saying. That is what is very fortunate now. In times gone by, there were nobody to come forward with this sort of education, and to make people know exactly what is happening. People just used to act on just how they feel.
Not only that, how they feel is one, but we as parents, we demean the children, when we make them feel worse than they're already feeling, we don't know how they're feeling to begin with. And then the things we say to them, it can be very damning to how they feel about their confidence and everything. So we talk about cognitive development. In terms of cognitive development, early adolescents start shifting from concrete thinking to more abstract reasoning. They begin to think about possibilities, hypothetical scenarios, and question established norms and rules. So if you say, well, the bed is black and you have to make it up every day with that white sheet, they're going to ask, well, why do I have to make it up and I'm going to sleep on it tonight again? You see, they question things that are normal now. So if you say, clean your room, well, the room ain't dirty to them, you ain't dirty. They question everything, and this is when it frustrates us as parents. We have to learn to deal with that. It says, this period is marked by a growing curiosity about the world and a desire to understand broader concepts beyond their immediate experiences. So we're going to take a quick break here, Jester, because we chat and we start, but we're going to take a quick break right here. Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester.
Oh, you're looking for a groceries market where you can purchase all the grocery and household items at the same time? Well, look further. Smart Buy SA Welfare and Company Limited, located at the top of the town on Main Street, St. Patrick, is the ideal spot. They're open Sunday to Sunday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturdays, and 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Sundays, just for your convenience. Call them today at 432-9219. That number again, 432-9219. We're shopping snacks at Snack Buy.
At Sugar's Repair Services, we offer digitally calibrated machines, resurfacing engine heads, general machinery. Show us your pattern and we'll make it with precision machines. At Sugar's Repair Services, we satisfy your needs. Just ask and it will be done. Call us at 473-418.
Saturday, February 8th, 2025. Grenada, get ready as Idol City Sports presents its fifth annual football nights. The annual night football competition. This is Mayfield, St. Patrick. One of the monsters, anyone knows, just have to answer. $20,000 up for grab. Yeah. And the first place winner of the senior team will receive $4,000. Under 17, $1,500. Second place, $3,000. Under 17, $1,000. Plus, you can win individual prizes. Football on the lights, which runs from Saturday, February 8th until Saturday, May 3rd. And all teams will be coming up against the Roseville football team, the defending champion. Registration fee for senior team, $400. And under 17, you enter free. All teams will be able to register 20 players, and one player's uniform must be numbered. No unauthorized vending. To register, contact 538-7509 or 406-9580. One game will be played on weekdays and two games on the weekends. Game kicks off from 7 p.m. Kicks off Saturday, February 8th and ends on the 3rd of May, 2025. Idol Cities Football on the Light. Rosal Plainfield in St. Patrick.
Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester. So we are back, Jester.
Welcome back, Claire.
Yes. So we're talking about the
Okay, before we go on, let's invite our callers to call. The number is 404-1189. Once again, the digit 404-1189. So we would love to hear what sort of experience they would have had in growing up, going through their body changes and, reacting to their parents. So,
too old age now. Everybody changes.
yeah, so But we're dealing with the aspect of puberty slash adolescent.
I told
Yeah.
because you have three children, two girls and a boy. Is it 3 years? Or 3 girls and a boy? Call us and tell us because you were in the middle, you're a real girl then in the middle of all of this. Call us and let the number again. It's on WhatsApp, so it's 147-340-41189. Call. I want to hear what you sound like. I haven't spoken to you for a bit on the phone, so call us. So yes. So we're going to stage 2 of the adolescence or the middle. So we're doing the age from 14 to 17 now, and the physical change again. During middle adolescence, the physical changes that began in puberty continue and become more pronounced. So it didn't just go away at the 10 to 13, eh?
Mm.
It's becoming more pronounced now.
But before you go on, between the 10 to 13 inch, Claire, my little boy,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems as if it had just become really, really natural. And when I realize with what he probably going through, if you're not careful, it could make you I could root all the hair I don't even have on my head. John is a man who's give real stress on a man in time going through I tell you stress. Like this morning we come out and walk out, right? Yeah, because the national primary school meet coming up next week for them, right? We come out in poetry and walk out. And so I'm telling him I putting him on hold with the football because it's no sense with doing all this workout for the athletics meet coming up, and the next thing you're playing football and you get injured, all your work go down the drain. So he knows that what he will harass me, and he knows that
Basically, harassment and
I want
because
so I realize this
the
stage
changes, yes.
yeah, and so you
10
have to be careful
10
that
to 13.
they don't really get you frustrated to a point whereby you just have to,
Zero.
yeah.
Good morning to Nat. Thank you so much for the greetings. Let me say good morning to Jay Grant also. I know she's at work already. And Swan. So yes. So it says during middle adolescence, the physical changes that began in puberty continue and become more pronounced. Boys typically experience increases in muscle mass and the growth of facial hair. Girls' bodies continue to mature, completing most of the physical changes associated with puberty. So, we mature quicker than you guys,
Oh
right?
yes, oh yes.
Boys and girls reach most of the adult height during this age. So if you see John, just fly up to you, that he's going through a good spot. And sometimes it comes with growing pains. He might say you have pain in his joints, but he's going to get really, really tall.
Right,
So
you're almost as tall as me already.
exactly. So she's going through that growth spurt. And girls are the same way. My daughter, when she started going to school, she was taller than all the children in her class. She's about 5'8". And I watch her I'm like, but didn't I just buy that for her? And it's like, so you after a while you have to just stop buying clothes for a bit and just let them go through their spurt, and then you know that they reach the max and you start buying them. Because you buy pants this week, next week it's like, well, thank God that those pants that I'm ready now, they can wear those floating pants now. They just put a nice socks on it.
But I want to talk about her height in comparison with you because you're you're a bottle.
Say anything else I regret. Tits, and just relax. You know the funny thing? My son is 6 and she's 5 and I'm 5.5.
Okay.
But let me tell you, I said to them, I said, I'm not afraid to discipline her. You're not afraid to take her. Going up. Up. Because, yeah, I mean, say what? You see, I'm wonderfully made, and I'm not going to change anything about me to make me taller. I think I'm compact, and the way I'm good. You don't want to be tall, fat. There are taller people than I am. So, yes, but she was really tall, and I'm like, okay. So they go through the sport, and when Max was just started to just have to buy shoes and so for Max because his feet is growing, and I'm like, Mike is 7.5. Candice is taking 9. Miles is taking 11, and I'm like, I can't touch his shoes. She buy really nice shoes, but if I put her walking like the people in India, and when they walk, their shoes stopping behind their foot. I can't keep her shoes at all. So yes, so they go through those spots, and it is said that girls mature at the age of 18. Girls are fully matured in their brain and everything. We can think things that you all are lagging behind. We are way in front of you because we mature at an early age. Boys mature fully.
Objection.
Not taken. Not taken. Yeah,
What?
taken.
What?
Are you going to take anyone?
Stop it. I can accept that. I would not sit down here and accept that.
It's not me that say it. Research has shown
But somebody
that.
could research.
Yes,
No, no,
it
no.
is true.
Somebody's
Listen,
somebody's opinion.
but listen what I say. Boys fully mature at the age of 21. Because you see, well, it is known, it is said that we women think a whole lot quicker and faster, and we have more thinking capacity more than your men.
Well, okay,
You don't get
where's that
from
coming
it is the
from? Where's
truth.
that coming? Where's that coming from?
Do your research.
Oh, please.
Do research. I told that Mary.
I could agree that from the in terms of body,
No, brain,
but
brain also.
uh,
You have your phone. Google it. Listen, when I say things to you, Jester, I don't just go blindly and tell you this. I'm talking truth.
somebody's
develop-
opinion at the end of the day.
So, and it's your opinion that you do not develop, that you develop late. It ain't it.
But no, Claire, that is been seen all over. That it's clear to see.
You're pun intended and
Generally
not pun
speaking, you
intended.
see that.
But it's true. Well, yes, we develop. But okay, not all girls develop.
But they
at
come
the
and tell
same
me about real and we think always.
No, call me when it's convenient. Let me back up because
Yeah.
he's not believing me, but it's
Sir,
true.
let's move on, please.
Moving on, but I'm not with the truth. So you see, it says boys and girls reach most of the adult's height during this age. That's somebody's opinion too? Or you just said to me that your son is almost as tall as he's going to. So the same thing that I'm talking about here is the same thing that studies have shown. That you look at the age you go through their growth spurt between the ages of 14 to 17. And we all see that right before our very eyes, our children just growing and wondering, well, what happened there? Studies have shown that too, and it is true because we've seen it, we lived it. I just told you about my son and my daughter. You told me about your son. So when I say we develop it brain wise, better than you guys or quicker than you guys, it is the truth.
No.
Hush.
No.
Emotional, Mary, you have daughters and you have some call. I need somebody to call me and God confirm that. Look, while I'm doing that, Google it and then come up with the answer and call me. Let Jester see that I'm telling the truth. So, emotional changes for them then. Emotionally, middle adolescence, we did that. You make me go wrong. So, social changes. Social middle adolescence place a high value on the relationship with peers. Romantic relationships often begin during this stage, and peer pressure can become quite significant. Let's stop there for a moment. So, everything about them at that time, Jester, is about the people that are the same age group with them and everything like that. They don't really care about us as the parents anymore telling them anything. It's all about what the friends say. And sometimes what
The
the friends
focus
say,
has been shifted.
yes, from family to them because every one of them, because the thing is, every one of them is going through the same thing around the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like they have a society. They're thinking the same thing. It says teens might push boundaries and set limits as they seek more independence and autonomy. Friendships and social groups become central to their lives, and they may experience a strong desire to fit in and be accepted by their peers. I said, and this is something again we as parents have to pay close attention to because they no longer belong to us in that way or think that we know what's going on with them. So even though we say things to them, it might not be what they want to hear at the moment because their friends is what they're telling them is gospel.
They are the greatest influences.
Exactly. So as parents again, we really have to pay attention to our children at this age and at this stage when they're going through this adolescence.
Especially in this era, Claire, where it seems that peer pressure has become so prevalent now, and in a negative sense to speak. So our parents, we have to be so much more committed to keeping our children, especially when they are going through that stage in their life, to keep them on that pathway. It's really it's a serious challenge for parents and guardians.
It says here the cognitive development of those of the middle, we're talking about the middle one now, is that cognitive middle adolescents show improvements in problem solving and reasoning skills. They become more adept at critical thinking and can consider multiple viewpoints when making decisions. This stage also marks the development of a stronger sense of personal ethics and values as teens start to form their own belief about right and wrong. So you see now the brain is starting to really develop now. So they can think more clearly. They can make decisions on their own. They can have, as I said, multiple viewpoints when making decisions. So if they're going to say go for a job interview, so they're going to get a job, they will think about different scenarios as how to go about this, what they should do, and who to talk to, how to dress, all these kinds of things. They can think more about things. They have different how to make what decisions they're going to make about things in their life. So if you used to say to them, you know what, wear that black pants and that green shirt. When we are telling them that at the time that they did not reach that stage as yet, it was easy for them to accept that from us. But now that they can start thinking about it by themselves, and you make one say to them, wear that black pants and a green shirt. Today they wouldn't. Because I think I prefer that. I want to make that choice. And so they start thinking on their own now.
That's the question I wanted to ask you at this point here. Because based on what I understand in the past, parents of long ago, mothers and things, when they were questioned by the children, especially the girl children, they never used to tell them exactly what is what. How do you see this then as compared to now? What do you believe it should have been the right thing to do? Right?
Okay. So we have to look at it on what how they grew up, our parents. Because their parents didn't know anything about that too. Everybody just they just were dropped into this, right? No one really taught them about puberty, about menstrual cycle, about breasts and all this kind of thing.
Pregnancy, all them sort of
No one taught them. So what they learned, they passed on. Right? So if her mother said whatever she said to her, my mother is going to say it to me. If I didn't get to an age where I read a lot and talk to different people, I might have said the same thing to my daughter. So it was like a generation curse, let's put it that way. It passed on from one to the other. Now, if when my daughter used to come and ask me about things, I gave her the answer based on her age. I couldn't go raw and say this is that or whatever it is. Like if she asked you, where did I come from when mom got pregnant? And where did the baby come from? Where the baby came from, my stomach and stuff like that. So you feed them the information that you know they could handle at the time. And the more they ask questions, the more you tell them the truth. Don't give me that mumbo jumbo thing about plane drop my brother and sister for me.
Yeah, that's
you see, and they don't see to stupidity,
Yeah.
Honestly. But again, you cannot blame them because this is what they knew.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it is an enlightening thing. Today's world, sometimes we are too raw now. We know too much.
Yeah.
And we give too much information, as they say, TMI. We give too much information to our children and at the age that we give them. Because there's some little children that you hear say things and you wonder, well, how did they know that? Or who told them that? But then again, they have the tablet in their hands also.
Yeah, they have
and if
the
parents
devices.
have no control over those devices, they can learn a lot of things on their own. So it's a stage where we still, as parents, have to be parents and let them know what they have to know, at what time they have to know, and what age they have to know it at. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. You make a lot of sense with what you're saying, especially.
Okay, the number is 404-1189. And I know a lot of you are listening there are parents. I too. Faithlyn, Lorna, Leslie.
You have some people they're just not old enough to call, no matter what.
But you can type your
Oh yes.
Joyce, good morning. Roy Charles, wherever you are, if you're listening, good morning to you. And you can call.
They probably can type in their question or comments.
Oh yes, they can. Yes. So now it says they become more adept to critical thinking and they start to form their own belief and right from wrong. So things that we used to say to them, Jester, that we know was right for them at the time. Now they're questioning it, is that what you're telling me is right? Because and you and I being through it, when we reach a certain age in our lives, what our parents tell us, it's not the truth. We don't believe it, and they're old and they don't know. So right now, we are in that position that our parents used to be in before, where they do not know, they don't, the children don't believe what we say because we old and our brain dead. So we cannot think or anything of that as a matter of fact. So now they're saying they're in an age where they can think for themselves and they know right from wrong. And by all means, that's right, because not all children that are going through that knows right from wrong. And that's
I think what was the thing about me, right, from my personal experience in growing up through the different stages, and I always say it, I always had like 2 years advanced my age, and the reason why it had happened because who I was growing up among, they were a few years elder than me. So I grew up around people like Clement John. I think I saw him here recently. He was at Poetry. Albert John, um, Reggie St. John, Maurice Hutchinson. So, these guys and them. So, yeah, you tend to kind of act like the age they were carrying. So, that's.
So you have to pay attention to this. Like you have your son, and he doesn't have any other children around him per se. You know that the children that grow up around adults, they develop faster than, when I say faster, vocabulary wise, they can hold good conversations when they go like that because their parents speak to them like normal people. They didn't give them that Google business teaching them all this child play, all these child languages, and so they speak to those children or speak with them, get them involved. So when they reach that sort of age, like 10 and so, I'm sure Johnny can hold a good conversation and he's not giving you those kind of broken languages speak because he's developed because his parents are the ones that speak them. And I know a lot of children like that. When they grow up around adults, they become adults faster than normal children.
Well, I can take an example from my last brother, Joseph. I've never heard him spoken broken language. And I think he got it from his dad, Cooper, because Cooper was really a really brilliant man. Yeah. You remember Mr. Miller was
Mrs. Brother. Mr. Miller was
deceased. Yeah. They are both deceased now. But yeah, so something it happens sometimes.
Because I've seen, I know a little girl, I'm telling you, when she speaks to me, it's like, whoa. It's like she traveled and she was tutored to speak that way. She couldn't call my name Claire, she used to call me Auntie Claire because she couldn't say the C.
Yeah.
But when Ava and I had conversation, it was like two adults having a conversation because her mom, where her mom works, my mom is a social worker, and she speaks to her. She speaks to her so that she can understand what she's saying. She doesn't even know kind of child talk. So I love speaking to Ava. Even when I call right now and ask Candice, how is Ava doing? She says she's fine. And then call Ava and we have good conversation. So I realize that children, that the parents speak to them like.
Yeah, and children are hard to be fooled nowadays. It's not going to happen easy. Information is just too readily available to think that you can fool children nowadays.
Another one, Royal's daughter. If you have a conversation with her too, you would think that she's a mini adult.
Yeah.
She speaks fluently and she tells the words on that she uses. Royal looks at me and said, the tablet?
Yeah.
It's the tablet. So the tablet has its good if the parents keep on top of it. They can, because a lot of the programs that they watch on the tablets, like what do you call it, Dora the Explorer and Paw Patrol and all this kind of thing, they are good. Grant has a little nephew. And when the child speaks, he's like, one day I was my Grant and he had there was this cotton thing that he was flying in the wind and he took on his foot and he says, no, Tanty, it is all perfect now. He was just 3 years old. I looked at him and I said, what was happening?
Yeah, it's amazing nowadays, man.
His tablet was, the battery was low and he couldn't see anything. And he says, Tanty, my tablet is glitching. He says, what? He says, my tablet is glitching. She said, what do you mean? I said, you cannot see anything on his tablet. I said, gotta get to the limbo. They are
Yeah.
totally
Oh
intelligent
yes. Oh
with
yes.
what it is that
Oh yes.
they come for us, eh? So we have to be prepared. So early in that stage, you start to develop the children so that when they reach at a certain age, they are way advanced. You don't have to baby feed them or spoon feed them, a lot of the things. So this is what they say about the 18 to the 21 years old in the physical stage. It said, okay, so 18 to 21 now, that is stage 3, the late adolescence. That's when they're coming into adulthood now. It says, by late adolescence, most people have reached their full physical maturity. You all didn't Google and see what time, what age men, boys get to the full capacity for thinking, their thinking ability? I want somebody to Google it. Lorna, you're good at that. Lorna, do it and let me know. This means that any remaining growth in height typically stops and the bodies are fully developed. What did I say, Jester? When I said about 21.
Well, yeah, that is
When you said
21. No. You're speaking about the when you tend to stop grow, right? It's around that age. Yeah, that
yes,
also. Yeah.
but it also says, good morning to you, Captain Leglo. Oh my gosh. She used to listen to us on Real. Good to have you and
Yeah,
subscribe.
I heard that
Captain
name.
Leglo, subscribe so we can get to you every Tuesday. We are on, and thank you so much for checking and spread the word that we still have the mental health program, and it is going. It is
Take
going.
5.
Take 5 with CJ and Jester. So yes, it says here. I'm going to read it again. Stage 3, late adolescence, within the ages of 18 to 21 years old, right? By late adolescence, most people have reached their full physical maturity, okay? Their
Yes,
full growth, right?
exactly.
This means that any remaining growth in height typically stops and their bodies are fully developed. The physical changes of puberty are complete and they now have adult level physical characteristics. So they can think clearly now. Clearly. So emotional changes. Emotionally, late adolescents tend to become more stable than they were in the early stages. They usually have a clear sense of who they are and are better at managing their emotions. However, this period can still be stressful as they navigate major life transitions, such as leaving home for college or starting their first job. These changes can bring about a mix of excitement and anxiety, and they adjust to new responsibility and experiences. Lorna just posed. I gave them 21, but you still are way lagging behind. Lorna posted 25 is the age of full maturity for you all.
Yeah.
I knew what I was talking about. You. I had to get you proof for you to believe me. 25. Because even at the age of 18, you see guys, they get good spot and they get really tall, but they're pretty immature. That's what it says. You can grow tall, but you don't grow big. Somebody call in. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I am good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Jester? Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. It's nice to hear you. That I can say.
Right. Yes. It is nice to hear you guys. I got a minute to listen to you guys. And I'm interested in conversation that you're having there this morning in regards to maturity, but between males and females. Um, in the recent past, I came across an article written by a psychologist to her son. And the letter started out, sorry, son, I apologize to you for not understanding that your body was maturing faster than your brain and making the assumption that they were tracking together. Yeah. And she went on to explain that your body was telling me that you look and act as an adult, but your mental capacity is still a boy. You understand?
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of the problems start to happen, right? Because the boy, he looks and acts like an adult, but his mental capacity is way below that. As you say, he's not till he's 25. So, like, we're talking 16, 17, right? How many years? That's another 7 years before he gets to his mental maturity.
Yes, yes.
And you, as a parent, looking at him and you're saying, "You're such a big boy. Why you behaving so?"
All the time.
The time you're a
Yeah.
big boy, why you behaving so? He's not. He's confused. He's going through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and emotionally, physically, psychologically, and none of them is in sync.
No.
None is in sync. So he's going through a lot of troubles just by himself. And you are looking at him and you're saying, "You mature, you like you're such a big boy, blah 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 blah," and you're running him down. Literally. Yeah? Why are you behaving like that? You're older than you know better. Yes, I know better. Doesn't mean I want to do better. I know it, but doesn't mean I want to do it. You understand? So, but then I'm talking from my experience now. When he starts not wanting to listen to you and he's listening to his friends more, here's where you know the parent have to take off your parent hat and now become a CID officer.
Hmm.
Yeah?
Yes. Get the right
Just
example.
you're laughing. I'm serious. You know,
But
because
there's a lot,
the officer.
there's a lot of
You
good
take, you
vibes
take
that
your
coming
parent
across here
hat,
this morning. Trust me.
you take your parent hat and you throw it in the back seat and you pull on your CID hat and you know, when you're around his friends or his friends come into the house, you interrogate them. I mean, you don't have to go as, bull nose and, want to take your bull pistol out and whip them. No. You're asking questions and you're asking the same question six different ways. And you're comparing the answers that you get to filter out the truth. Yeah. Because they'll try and twist that truth as much as possible so you don't get any idea. I'm not ratting out my friend, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you keep asking the questions and you start paying attention to them, you start putting the picture together and you get an idea of what your son or your daughter is like outside of your parents, of your presence, right? And you have to do that consistently. So anytime they come into the house, they know they're going to get interrogated and they will start building up a resistance. But human beings, we can't help it. We keep talking. And as they keep talking, you'll find information coming out. But parenting my daughter was totally different. She had a totally different way of looking at life as my son would. Let me give you an example. I would go to the store with my son and he said, "Dad, can I have a candy?" I said, "Sure." And he would pick up two or three in his hand. I said, "Well, why you need two or three?" "Well, one for now and have one later and maybe another one another time." No, it was my daughter I'm with, and she would go and she would pick up two. I said, "Why are you taking two?" "Well, one for me and one for my brother."
Exactly.
Yeah, totally
Yeah,
different
there's something.
looking at the same thing. Totally different way of looking at the same thing, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So when it comes to this, I think it's a very good topic, very good conversation. And I wish more parents would call in because I'm seeing a lot of issues with the boys and not leaving the girls out, but with the boys because their behavior is more noticeable. Well, the females is a little bit different in how they do things. Yeah, as you said, they're more intelligent in terms of maturity. I'm not saying they're smarter than the boys, but more mature in what they do and how they do it. So your tactics to deal with that have to be different. Yeah. And for the women out there who's raising boys, take that little bit of information that their body and their brain is not in sync. They're not even in the same body. The body is over here and the mind is way someplace else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be able to fill that gap so that they can understand what it is that you're looking for. And you made the example of, you know, here's the bed, make the bed. Why I have to make the bed when I have to lie down in it again a couple of hours later? It's not that you have to lie down in it. It's instilling discipline in doing something on a repetitive basis. That's what that's all about, you know. And once you, for me, I jump out of the bed and first thing I look back at it and it's to make it up, right? And it's just the discipline. And then as you go on in life, you kind of follow that and through with what you do. And if you go to work, you know you have to be there for a certain time. You have to do this. This needs to get done for this time. So all of that builds and making you a disciplined person to do what things you need to do and to get through the little things that you need to do in the studies, all of these things. It builds up from there. Yeah.
Let me tell you
Yes.
something. I tell you how much I do appreciate when you call. And I've been hearing comments from different people. That man that called the program every time, he is so intelligent. He says things so clearly that people can understand. And I have to always say, I take my hat off to you. You are part of the reason, or the real reason why I'm doing this now, because we had so many conversations. He says, Claire, you've got to do this. You are on a path, go with it. So thank you so much. And continue to call and educate each and every one of us, because let me tell you, when you say things, I listen and I swallow it. Even though it's a bad thing, you might be feeling you're swallowing still.
But and my addition to that, you always your contribution, right, to bring new dimension to the whole topic in itself.
So what is
Well,
what
thank you
have we
guys.
back up in about new dimension? You
Eh,
new dimension?
Claire, you had your piece. I gave my. You,
I
you want to chastise me for words that I just
and I
did.
know my friend is more mature because all the dots are now lined up and
Yeah.
so he can keep up with you. I'm not there for him.
Yeah. So you see, um, thank you so very much. I'll comment. You may choose to leave now, but I will comment on what you say. Like, you see what I was saying? What
Have
he
a great
just said
morning, guys.
is that
Take care.
it puts parents in a testing time when children going through that sort of changes in their body. And the thing about it, some parents may not realize it as a result of the changes that are taking place. Some of them.
95.5% of us do not realize what's going on with our children. Because you know what we put it down to? Oh, they're rude.
Yeah.
Or they're this, or they're that. We've been through it and we didn't know that we were going through what we were going through. So it is enlightening now that we can sit here and talk about it and see if we can let some parents know that what your children is going through is not a normal thing for them. It might be normal for us, but it's not a normal thing for them.
But Claire, and you see what I concern about, right? There are some parents that have to deal with some of these children who are hypotensive, who might be diabetic, and if they are not careful, because as Mr. Snag I have said, right? They're how they grown, right? Their body got bigger, but so you cannot allow them to make the raise your pressure and cause you give you a stroke and everything. So you have to know how to deal with these children and the changes.
You've been around. You remember Ghana?
Ghana, yeah, Ghana.
You saw how big Ghana was?
Yes, from its mooring.
Right. Ghana was a giant.
Oh, yes.
Oh, he's still a giant, but I see him. He lives in Toronto. I see him. Oh, that's just kind of far away from Ghana. And Ghana just grew big. But Ghana was a very young boy.
Oh, yes.
So as Nicholas says, the body took off, but the brain was way behind because he couldn't fathom a lot of things that was going on with him because everybody was trying to see this called Ghana the giant.
Yeah,
he was
huge.
So big.
He had the size, he had the
height because his father was a big MacLeod, was a huge man, a tall man too. Just as how Reggie and so big guys that they're coming from. But you see, that's the thing. And when you don't know, you don't know. But if you do know, and you pretend not to know, and you keep leaving your children do these things, and then something is wrong. You need to go see Dr. Spencer.
No, but I'm telling you, and I am going through it right now because with my son, my last son, he really probably does think you. If I go to follow him, I'll probably maybe pull something on. No, I'm telling you serious. You don't realize they have this playful way about them again too, and they look to drive you nuts, and they need to want to see you react. That's the whole thing about it. So you have to know. Yeah.
My son is a lot like me. Eh? We are very, very headstrong. And so then when I watch him, I watch me. And I'm not going to fight him. He puts me through the ringer, When he up there, oh, I say A, he tells me B. I said C, he says D.
That's all right.
And we going at it. And at one time I said, wait a minute here. We are no friend. Why? I just come back here. And I'm telling you, he's really, really headstrong. And at the time I see, wait a minute, I ain't winning that fight. I wasn't winning the fight because, again, body tall, but his brain is not. And everything that I said to him, I was wrong. So I said, okay. I just give it to him. If he comes and the thing, if he come and he says something to me, I had to think before I answered him. Because I said the wrong thing, fights that again. Fights that. So I learned from him how to deal with his sister. You understand? Because I used to say to her, I said, don't think that you're not going to go through the same thing that he's going through. Just give me some problems and you're going to see something. But I know I'm just saying that so to kind of get a bit frightened so she don't try that. But I learned from him, dealing with him, how to deal with her. But again, she was different because she thinks differently. Because she saw how he behaved and she said, oh, mom going to pull him with a spoon on that. So she think really quick and she didn't give me much of an issue. Let me tell you, one day I came home. They come from school and we call them the keychain kids. We give them the key in a, you know what we call that thing? The lanyard, and they inside it. So when they come home in the evening, they have the key to go in. Two of them, And I said to him, this is I said to him, I said, eat whatever you want. Do not turn on the stove, do not anything.
Yeah.
You could watch it. Oh, when I come home one day, I saw the dish drainer, a whole piece was torn out from it with a verdict in my. What happened to the dish drainer? And I can't see the piece. So I said, Max, yes, Mom. I said, what happened to this? I don't know. I said, what I left it this morning was it. I said, what did you do with it? Well, I saw the knife. I don't want to see it. So you cut up piece in my dish drainer just for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
So they put you through some kind of
Yeah.
to see if you're going to knock them out
Yes.
or if they could knock you out.
But listen, when they think they walk in me on the land, I could walk them on the sea and in the air because listen what I normally deal with J1 because he loves sports. He's very passionate about sports. So when I say, okay, you want to go to Roseville to watch football with me? Hey, that ain't happening. Yeah, sometimes I get him to kneel playing this. Yeah, certain things that they would love, they just take away that opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I'm making no joke.
Especially when their friends are going to be there and they can't go or they cry and cheer, they're bawling. Yeah. So we as parents have to know how to deal. And I'm so happy that we're doing that program today because I know a lot of parents are going through that right as we speak. Yeah. They cannot speak to their children, they don't pay attention. And it's not that the children don't want to hear, or they disrespect you. It's because they are confused. As a matter of fact, I spoke to a friend of mine. She lives in Toronto, but she's from India. She's from straight out of Calcutta. And she says, I was looking at you when you posted your stuff this last night. And what is this one about? I says, how old is Gabriel? She has 3 sons. I said, how old is Gabriel? She says, Gabriel is turning 18. I said, this is about him. I was it. And she says, oh my gosh, Colin. I said, oh my gosh, Colin. So, to Indian thing. She says, I have to sometimes sit there with Gabriel and just listen to him. I said, and you're doing the best thing. She said he's very confused. Someday he said this, and he go to school and he doesn't know what's going on in his body and all this kind of thing. I said, you are doing the right thing. I said, because we're going to come to the part where we as parents, we just have to sit and listen. Yeah. And don't say much. Because they are trying to tell us what is going on with their bodies and their mind.
Well, it's good to know the associate and acquaintances of your child too. And as the caller said, right? So that you could start questioning, you'll get to know certain things that your child could be involved in.
Where you are now?
Yeah,
All do when you all went to them. Where did you guys go? You ask them as though you want to be friends and you want, but and you getting your information. You come straight up and you're like, They'll lock in their jaw like a pit bull and bite somebody else. Honestly, let's take a quick commercial break and we shall be right. Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester.
Prepared services, repair services, we offer services with digitally calibrated machines, resurfacing engine heads, general machinery. Show us your pattern and we'll make it with precision machines. At Sugar's Repair Services, we satisfy your needs. Just ask and it will be done. Call us at 473 418
Saturday, February 8th, 2025. Ada, get ready as Idol City Sports presents the fifth annual football. The annual night football competition. This is Bayfield, St. Patrick. One of the monsters, anyone knows, just have $20,000 up for grabs. Yeah. And the first place winner of the senior team will receive $4,000. Under 17, 1,500. Second place, 3,000. Under 17, 1,000. Plus, you can win individual prizes. Football on the lights, which run from Saturday, February 8th until Saturday, May 3rd. And all teams will be coming up against the Roseville football team. The defending champion. Registration fees for senior teams, $400. And under 17, you enter free. All teams will be able to register 20 players. And all players' uniform must be numbered. No unauthorized vendor. To register, contact 538-7509 or 406-9580. One game will be played on weekdays and two games on the weekends. Game kicks off from 7 p.m. Kicks off Saturday, February 8th and ends on the 3rd of May, 2025. Vital Cities Football on the light. Rosal Plainfield in St. Patrick.
Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester. We are back to business. And you know, ever so often we normally ask you, our listeners, the Take 5 listeners, and those of you who are viewing, that if you have a topic that you want us to discuss, you can send it to us on the live here, or you can send it to email at cjtake5@gmail.com. We will work on it. We'll do the research and we'll work on it because we come up with topics and other people come up with topics and they send it to us. And so we want more of you because we are doing it. The mental health program is for all of us. I may be doing the research and Jester may be doing the research. And guess what? While we're doing the research, we are learning things about ourselves and changes that we can make in our lives to be all better people. So do not hold back on anything about what you want us to talk about. Once it is at TV, TV safe, we can do, and we can tweak it whichever way we want to make it okay. So please do not hold back on us. Give us topics that you want us to discuss, and whole range of them. Because when I go searching for things that we can talk about, I come up with a few good things, like a few good men. When they say, you know, we come up with a few good things that we can talk about. So thank you so much for each and every one of you that are listening or viewing, and we really, really do appreciate it.
And let me say thank you very much to Sonia for coming up with this topic, man. It's, yeah, most complimentary. Yeah. That was some deep thought,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
to think about coming up with a topic like that, you know. Yeah.
So, so here it is, emotional changes that the 18 to 21-year-old goes through. It says they usually have a clear sense of who they are and are better at managing their emotions. Emotionally, late adolescents tend to be more stable than they were in the early stages. However, it says this period can be stressful as they navigate major life transitions, such as leaving home for college or starting their first job. These changes can bring about mix of excitement and anxiety as they adjust to new responsibility and experiences. Let's talk about the college. When they leave home, some of them can't wait to leave home fast enough because the parents, as they say, as Will Smith says, parents just don't understand. Some of us as parents just don't understand. So some of the children that are leaving home to go to college, it's like yippee we're leaving, we're not coming back because the parents, my parents just don't understand what I'm going through. So when they go to college, that doesn't mean that they're better off you. They're still confused, but they're meeting the parents now. And sometimes this is where the drugs come in and everything because they are not settled, they are not mature enough to, because when they're going to college, they go at the age of 17 and 18, yeah? Remember, they're fully, boys are fully developed at the age of 25, whereas girls are at 18. We are fully matured brain-wise at the age of 18. So chances are we are able to take whatever is coming to us at college. And if you notice or if you realize that when you go to college and you hear about that hazing that takes place, also most times it's who? Boys.
Yeah.
You very rarely hear his girl. A girl might get raped or so when you go to college because of the drinking. And if you're not accustomed to drinking, you can still feel pressure and they say, oh, so you come to college and you come to study. And they say, oh, you don't always have to beat the books. You know, have a little fun. And this place, we're having a party at this frat house tonight and you come. You're innocent. You come from home. You never drank a bit of alcohol in your life. You never smoked. But that people, the room that you get to stay with your roommate is fully cooked in alcohol and so. So they're gonna take you and bring you that place. You get plied with alcohol and think then you lose your inhibition, somebody.
Yeah.
So parents, when you're sending off your children to schools that is not in your area, pay attention. Go visit them as often as possible.
But not just that. I've seen like movies, and you know when they make movies, it's based on things that happen in real life, eh? And so sometimes that same person, right? They will not be willing to fall for the peer pressure that's been put on them. You know, realize, nah, I'm not here for that. And because they're trying to keep themselves together, somebody might be planning, right? Planning to deliberately attack them, and you know,
yeah, because you're too good for us, and you're too good for us.
Yeah, you're playing.
Better than us.
Yeah.
But you see, not everybody is like a happy moral of alley cats. You understand? Some of us come from homes where parents really try with us to make us better people.
Yeah.
And you go there with the same moral that you were taught at home. So when you go there and they're telling you this thing, you're thinking twice, well, no, this is not what it is. And then they attack you just like that. And
Yeah.
before you know it, you either die by suicide because the peer pressure that you're getting, this is not who you are. Some of them, they have morals like alley cat. You know, they're in the alley and they do not kind of wrong things. And they take you to school with them and expect that me and you will come and do the same thing.
Going to college and universities and
It is
things
a terrible thing.
it's not
No.
easy. It's
And,
not easy.
and that's why some parents send their children to college that is close to home. So if anything, they could just drive down and pull out the child.
Even in going to Tam CC there,
Well,
when
yes.
sometimes when I look at the reaction of how some children, behave.
They're going to school in half. They're going to school in night. They're going to school in
Yeah,
they
it's
say
not
no,
easy.
they're wrong. They're on the bus. Let me tell you something. I was in St. George last Friday. Was Friday when I got paid, right?
Yeah.
And I'm on a bus. And person across town to see there, they pick up the bus. And Jester, so I cringe, you know. And I said, I never behaved like that in my life. What happened in here? The bad word that I children never let you go. I call it bad word because it cannot be obscene language anymore. That is bad word. And they don't care who is there, whether you're an adult or what, and it comes up and it's wrong. And I go, how did we get there? How did we really, really, really get there?
And it didn't take us that long to get where we are now.
Not at all. So you see, but then again, there are parents that are afraid of their children or they're friends with their children. I, for one, always maintain I do not want my children to be afraid of me. I respect them. I respect their privacy, as they can. I say privacy. I respect their privacy, but they will respect me too. And that doesn't mean that they cannot call me. They call me Claire. When I said yes, that's my name. They say that to see how I react. But we're not friends. Because the moment you start to be friends with your children, that's when they lose all respect for you. They think that you and them are on the same level playing field and you cannot say anything to them because you become afraid of them. They become the parent and you become the child. And I'm not saying you cannot have a good relationship with your children and not be disrespectful. I'm not saying that at all. Because my two and I are good. But when I call them in their full name, they know I'm not joking anymore.
I tell you, I never forget the occasion with my first son living in Mount Craven. And he had this, because we had a CD player. We realized playing that he had a CD with Movado with all, Movado with all these violent songs. Man, watch, I mash up that CD so fine. I'll show you my mash up in a million pieces here. He never forget. And come on, I can put up with this kind of thing,
That when sometimes I ask where's the police, you driving, you in Grenville walking and this guy passing the car and the loud music and the word that coming out of the speaker. Oh, what is this? It's like we're living in a lawless society, anything goes. It cannot be, and our children, even on school days, rush hour, the music that the drivers play on the bus for the children and they want in the Jester, you do not want to be on the bus from 2:30 in the afternoon until about 3:30. I'm telling
Here
you,
comes the breakdown.
honest truth. And you see, they don't take people like me and so on the bus at that time, because they'll ask them to turn me the home.
Yeah. You're in the way.
Yes, because if they do that to get the children to come on the bus because of the words that come out of the song. No. I'm telling you, it's hard to be a parent right now. It's really, really hard to be a parent at this moment because you really actually have no control.
But that's the next thing. I know the government has taken an initiative, and in fact, they piloted a project to public transportation for the school children. But these are some of the things that they will have to be looking at and have to speak to them drivers and them. But I just hope,
There's just few drivers, and the children love that buses. And I said, what? And so, what you looking at? One of them asked me, what I'm looking at you with your nonsense. I said, stop it. I said, this one that come to them, and I said, your mother here. You said, what would she feel? When my mother and I said, I'm a mother, and I'm here, so stop it. Because I don't know. Something is wrong with me, maybe. Maybe something is wrong with me. Honestly.
Oh my gosh.
So, the social one, really cognitive one now. Cognitively, late adolescents have advanced reasoning and problem-solving skills. I did that one already, right? They are capable of abstract and hypothetical thinking, allowing them to plan for the future and set long-term goals. This stage is characterized by a well-developed sense of self and a clear vision of future aspirations. They start making critical decisions about their careers, education, and other important aspects of their adult life. So now they're into adulthood, Jester, and they are really coming to themselves as to what they want to do. They're allowing themselves to plan for the future for long-term goals. So before it was just helter-skelter, they just do something and they don't really care. But now, the ages between 18 to 21, they start to focus differently on things that they really want to do. And here, key development tasks. During adolescence, there are a few important goals that teens work towards as they grow up. Here's a closer look at these tasks. They gain independence from parents and family. One of the big goals during teenage years is to start becoming more independent. This means taking on more responsibility and making more of their own decisions. Teens begin to want to make choices about their daily lives, such as what they wear and how they spend their time. This helps them learn to rely on themselves and prepare for an adult life. And that is a good way to look at it. Because you cannot be under your mother's coattail, as they say, forever. You have to be out there being independent, finding yourself and what you want to go through in life. Although there are some of us that stay with our parents until we croak.
Would have been my next question too, because what in America, right?
When you turn 18, they're gone, parents
have
put
to
you
go.
out.
Yeah, they don't. The parents don't mind if they have to give you a help or a start or so, but
But you go,
but
you're
you're
gone.
going. Yeah.
And when they leave the house, the room turn into a study or gym. You cannot
Right.
come back.
That is their type of culture. But here, a child will stay with his parents even if he has thick walking, bending, gray hair.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think that it is beneficial for the child to remain at home right through his life?
I don't think
Loafing on the parents?
I don't think so. I don't think.
I
But
think
we down here, we want to always see our children in our footstool. That's what it is. You know. But I don't think it's the best thing. You know, you have to allow children
to be
to
themselves.
grow and free flow and
Look,
I mean, you don't have to neglect your parents. You need to come visit regularly and ensure that they've been taken care of all these things. But I don't think it's
no, when I travel, I'm telling you honestly, because it has taught me so much about this life that we live. Because well, you see, I'm here and my two are over there. I refuse to leave to come home before I know that they are capable of looking after themselves in my absence. When I was quite certain that I can, I said to them, listen, I am 59. I am doing early retirement. I'm going home because it doesn't make sense. I have a full wall standing there with nothing. I'm going home. They said, okay. But I said, I'll come back every time. Every time I feel like jumping in the plane, I'll be back because I have to go back there. They're there. But you know what? When I go home, yeah, saying home and home. When I go home, and when I stay with Candice there because she stays in the apartment now.
but
That's her home
you
life.
look good for your age, girl.
I know.
You don't even know how to accept that compliment. Oh my gosh.
I'm not 59 anymore. Just so you
So
know.
that's why I could have done
But
that.
thank you so
At
much.
that time, it was 59. So just
Yes.
imagine.
Yeah.
And you're looking the way you're looking.
Yeah.
You
And
know what
then
I'm
say
saying?
exercise, eating healthy, stress not and laugh a lot. That's it. So when I go back home and she's there and mom, I'm going out. Before, when I was there and she's going out, I want to know where she's going, who she's going with, and all this. I'll still ask, well, where you going? And she's like, out. And you know what she said to me? If you don't ask, I'll tell you. I said, but it's in me. I can't see walking out and don't ask. But then I came to the conclusion. I'm not there for almost a year. She's going, and I don't know where she's going, and she's surviving. So now I rewire my brain that she's an adult. She can take care of herself because I taught her to take care of herself. Don't do anything stupid when she's out there, like drink and drive or drink and don't know where you are so that somebody's going to take advantage of you. I taught her that. So when she's going out now, I just say, okay, have a good time. But that doesn't mean I'm sleeping soundly when she's out until she
You
comes
see what I was telling you? You have to go and rewire your brain to understand that, whereas a man would understand that so long. Let's move on.
What did you just say? Say it again.
I said you have to go and rewire your brain to understand that, whereas a man.
What is this?
And you're talking about your brain that's developed faster than us.
Because yes, it developed, and I know, but that's why I'm saying, you see the thing about it, they're always going to be your babies regardless of what age they are, but you have to let them be free to be the people that they have to be and move on.
I'm not disputing that in any way.
When I'm home now and she said, Mom, I'm going to JJ, I'm going to this one, and I don't have another question to ask because I know where she's going. It's the thing is that I said to her, it's not that I'm trying to mind your business, I said things happen. So if something happened and I know you're in that area, I know I have to jump in the car and see if I can come and pull you out from where you are. I said that's all I need to know so that I know that you're safe. And it's nothing more than I want to know where she's going or anything of that. I just for my peace to know that she's okay.
Yeah, but
that's it.
Apart from that, we know you fast. Let's.
And not fast. I mean, there's a difference. I want to know. And listen, if I was not, as you put, if I wasn't fast, I would know all the things that I know now. You understand? So that I can have this program talking about things that I know, right? So it's good to be fast, not fast in people's business. I don't care about people's business. I don't have time to
And you have to bring the point home. Let's go.
I'm bring it home because you bring it to more. Okay, so the developing their own identity, we talk about that. And the process of self-discovery, help them to understand what makes them unique. Or let's do that one. It says, developing their own identity. Teens work on figuring out who they are and what they believe in. They explore different aspects of their personality, interests, and values to see what feels right for them. This process of self discovery helps them to understand what makes them unique and how they fit into the world. So the confusion starts at home, and it's going to go further if they do not develop that part of their body or the part of their anatomy where they can figure out, well, is that what I want to do for the rest of my life? Or can I do something different? Is there anybody that can help me to get there? You know, they have to think about all that to be successful adults in their lives. So here it comes to building and maintaining friendship. Friendship becomes very important during adolescence. These, these things focus on forming and keeping strong relationships with their peers. These friendships offer support, companionship, and a sense of belonging. Learning to handle conflicts and work well with others are important skills they develop during this time. So they're planning for the future now. And as they get closer to adulthood, teens start to think about their future roles, such as their career and family life. They explore different job options, consider their interests and skills, and make plans for their education or training. They also begin to think about what kind of future they want and how to achieve their goals. This planning helps them prepare for the responsibilities that come with being an adult. So, you know, from the womb to the cradle to growing up, all this is part of the growing pains. So, you know, we all know we didn't stay as babies. We are these kind of adults that we are now. And they are on their road to become what we are now, Jester. So, all of this planning for the future, you see sometimes that's why I say again, it is not a good thing for us as parents to encourage our children to stay home with us. Because some of them, they grow big, they never grow up. They grow to be big boys and big girls, but they never grow up in the mind, in the action, in the anything to make them into real men and women that can contribute towards society right now.
Well, the whole thing about children having to move out from the parents' home is a matter of owning up to responsibilities in life. That's the main thing behind it.
But you see,
It's,
it's true. But if we do not teach our children responsibility at an early age, Jester, like how Nicholas said, to make up the bed, it's a responsibility, you know. You are
yeah, well, of
responsible
course,
for making up your bed every
of
morning
course.
that you
Well,
get
yeah,
up.
we should have been giving them that guidance all along the way. So by when that time reach, right?
But
When
then
that time
again,
reaches, then
but
they
again, look at me. Some of us as parents, we love our children so much, or so we think this guy we love, that we do everything for them.
no,
We
it's
don't
not the
teach them
best.
a thing about what life has to offer. Not letting them know that the world is waiting for them out there and it's not kind to us. So that's what we have to teach our children at a very, very early age. What is out there waiting for them?
And that is a very, very important point. And especially, right, mothers, you should be teaching your boy children as well how to cook, how to wash, how to do certain things in the home. Because guess what? When they're on their own, right?
Well, he did it. If they can burn water.
I'm telling you, man. I know of a few men that go through that kind of problem because they don't know how to cook.
Needed to wash their
Understand?
clothes.
And then that is when they have to stick all kind of stupidness from some ladies. Who
Well, you
really,
okay. Hold it here. They're sticking to some of the ladies. But you see, they're contributing to the lady, making them do because you come and you don't know how to cook, you can, and you want like job to, you want some help to clean the house, you want the dishes, and you don't know how to do that. That is not room for them to stick to.
well, I have to agree with you. Is that one? Well, I'm not. What is it?
The way
Why you behaving as if?
you said it, it's like it's the end of it. That's why you have to 6 minutes from all the time.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, well,
when
of
you go
course.
6 minutes,
Well,
you don't know how to do
that's
anything.
right. So them at first put themselves in that position to having to stick with the stupidness. Once they go into that, so I'm
But
agreeing
they
with you.
must find somebody in their life that they can cook, otherwise they can eat, they can wear clothes, they can. Catherine said she had missed us all. Thank you so much. We do miss a lot of the people that we were talking to on the mental health. See if you can get them to come over to you, Catherine. We really, really do appreciate it because we are spilling real information here. So yes, but you see, and it's a parent's responsibility. Not every child has a mother in a home. Some of them just have a father that looks after them. And some of the fathers that the parent taught them how to cook and all that, they surely should pass it on to their sons so that the sons will know that I can iron, I can cook. And as they say, no woman I got in style. You see, Mary, oh, they got to marry Michelle. He can cook and he can do all that. He don't eat out because he can cook when he go home, he make his meal and he do what he cooks for his family and all that. And this is what, and you see, a lot of parents before, they used to kind of cuddle the boys in a way that, oh, it's my son. And, you know, when he married, the wife has to go. That went out the window because everybody now has to be able to do something to survive because the wife already working now too. She's no longer staying at home. And if you have a child and you have to take the child to the babysitter and you have to cook, so now I drop the child off, you pick him up. I start to cook, when you come home, you finish cooking. So it's a two-way thing so that everybody's going to be happy. But a lot of us as parents, we think that keeping our boys home
Clever.
and washing their clothes and cooking and feed them, that we're doing them that justice. It is an injustice.
I'm so glad the way I grew up because trust me, I learned to wash at a very, very early age by my granny. Very, very early. And then, you know, by CJ after that. And I remember CJ, well, you know the type of person CJ was in society. So, and with Clement, John, Jacob, I learned a lot of things from him in the kitchen. He was a boss cook. And he had people all like Ben Jones and the deceased Governor General Paul Spoon used to be coming home for lunch. And who's cooking it? Who is preparing it?
All the boys.
All boys
All
in the house.
boys,
We
yeah.
used to earn CJ close to going to work. Everything we had returned.
First of all,
So it's
and I think
good,
that
right?
all of our parents, even though it's just to teach them to make mac and cheese, make mac and cheese. Because you know you have to learn something. Because when you're like in the wilderness and you don't know what to do here, you sit down there and you're hungry. If your wife decide, but then again, there are those of us who like me that are wives or were wives that if you're traveling, you cook, you freeze. So that you know that the person has something to eat. You take it out in a container, you let it out, and then you could have dinner. It's not TV dinner. It's a real dinner. Like when I was coming here a couple times, I know what Candice like. I cook it and I put it in the freezer. Anytime you feel like it, you take out one and eat it because she likes salsa. I'll make salsa and freeze it for her and all this kind of thing. So it's not that she can't cook, but the time that she has. With the run she run in there, I said I don't want my child to be looking as though she has British and scurvy and very, very. So I'll cook. Okay? So now we go into developmental milestones. During adolescence, teens achieve several important milestones that mark their growth and development. Here's what their milestones look like. Completing physical growth and sexual maturation. By the end of adolescence, most teens reach their full physical height and complete the changes associated with puberty. For girls, this means that their bodies finish developing in terms of breast growth and menstruation. Boys complete the changes in muscle development and voice deepening. So they're mom, that done. They finish, the voice gone. They reach the stage of mom and they can't go any deeper, right? Developing autonomy here. What? They cook. The deep and they come because they don't fully develop as yet. So they get a coke in it until they reach the deep one. So developing a stable sense of identity. Teens work on figuring out who they are and what they stand for. This involves understanding their own beliefs, values, and interests, and how they see themselves in the world. By the end of adolescence, they usually develop a more stable and clear sense of identity, knowing what makes them unique and how they fit into their community. They are forming close and supportive friendship. Building strong, supportive friendship is a key milestone during adolescence. Teens form deeper connections with their peers, which provide emotional support and companionship. These friendships often become central to their social lives and help them navigate the ups and downs of growing up. So that's self-explanatory.
Oh,
They do that. They want to feel that they are okay with their peers and themselves. So making decisions about education and career paths. As they approach adulthood, teens begin to make important decisions about their future. This includes choosing educational paths such as selecting high school courses or college majors and exploring their career options. They start to think about what kind of job they might want and how they can achieve their career goals. So, from the early puberty, adolescent 10 to 13, 14 to 17, 18 to 21, that is the whole process of becoming an adult from puberty to mom, the deep voice. This is it. And here's the conclusion. It's coming for us now. Adolescence is a dynamic and transformative period marked by significant growth in physical, emotional, social, and cognitive domains. By understanding these stages of adolescent development, parents, educators, and caregivers can better support teens through these critical years, helping them navigate challenges and achieve their full potential. So this is where we come in now. Sometimes we play this and we want to tell those children what we want and all these kinds of things. This is where they're going to tell us what it is now. We're going to say what it is. A parent's guide to surviving puberty and adolescence. First, be prepared. Puberty has both visible and invisible signs. We got a call. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, Jester.
Good morning to you, Lorna.
So this is a very good topic. Made me go back to my years of that stage. And I was thinking, there are many parents who will shy away from having this discussion with their children. As you previously mentioned, they're just carrying on what they learned from their parents. And for me, while growing up, there was a book called Your Youth Getting the Best Out of Life. So my parents used this book and we would have weekly discussions. And there were two chapters in that book that I remember. One was growing into manhood, and the other one was moving into womanhood. And it would explain all the different stages. And so for parents who shy away, maybe this is one way that they can start having this open dialogue with their children. Just find some reading material, read it together with them. Then you can ask them to experience this. So this will open up the way now for having this open dialogue. And at the same time, you can acknowledge the challenges that they are feeling while going through adolescence. So we have to keep in mind that some parents will shy away from this discussion, and there is a way that they can do it that will benefit them and the children. So have a good day.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, bye.
My gosh, valuable contributions.
And well, these are people that I know. This is not no fly by night, people like you know.
Oh gosh, you can try. You reckon stick?
Yeah. When you take to a city, you are flash drive. That's why you see very records if you want to be in a flash drive.
Oh, gosh.
So yes, it says a parent guide to surviving puberty and adolescence. Be prepared. Puberty has both visible and invisible signs. We as parents have to teach them about hygiene. Typically, 2 to 2.5 years after the onset of puberty, menstruation begins in girls. Be sensitive. Remember how stressful it was to get a pimple. Pick your battles. And we're talking about us parents, eh? Hormones rage during this time. Respect the privacy. Be there. Set rules, but know that they know what they are watching and when and reading and when. This is paramount to pay attention to our children, what they are watching, what they're reading. Because as you know, Jester, they can get the wrong message. from the tablets or from talking to different people. I want to say a lot of us as parents, we shy away from doing that. But if we do not talk to our children, somebody else is going to talk for us.
Yeah.
And what they might be saying may not be what we want them to hear. So even though you're shy as a parent, stand up in front of the mirror and practice the questions that you're going to ask your son or your daughter. Not come up straight and say, so why your voice breaking out? You're a man? No. Say, I realize that you're going through changes in your life and your voice is starting to go differently. How do you feel about that? They will tell you.
And some of them become so edgy. I've
Because
witnessed
they're
that a couple of days ago.
They don't know what's going on with that. Okay, you wake up one morning and you start to say, Mama, what?
You know,
This kind of thing.
you wonder if that the same nice little child you used to know,
That
nice
is the same
little
and
girl,
they grow
child,
into
nice
an
little
adult.
boy. They just,
They become people like you know. I don't.
yeah, but
Did you know what was happening to you when it was happening? Honestly?
the way I can remember myself, maybe, I think, yeah, in my formative years, I might have been more. I might have
Because
been
you are
among
around
more
people
age,
that
yeah.
knew about these things.
Yeah, age really bring reasoning in truth in a sense, you know. I tell you that I might have been a bit more edgy.
Yeah. And then you're arrogant. Nobody can talk to you. Nobody can because you feel that you're confused already. But you know, the way of lashing out that confusion is to be on the other side, to be edgy. That you don't want anybody to tell you anything. So yeah, concerns about popularity and acceptance are more intense during the early teen years and may lead teens to participate in risky behaviors. Parents can help teens resist these pressures and find alternative groups. Explain your family's set of values, like respecting yourself and others, the importance of trust, etc. And remember, Nicholas bring up that.
Yeah.
Question them in all different ways and form. You will get the truth at the end of it all. So you got to learn how to do it. At the same time, you're respecting who they are and not make them feel shame or make them shame in the presence of their friends or anything.
Yeah, that would be the worst thing.
Yes. Ground could open up and you go down. Also, during the teen years, there is often less time being spent with family. Family closeness is still an extremely important component of adolescent development and has been associated with a lower incidence of smoking, alcohol, and drug usage and suicide attempts. So the family still has to be there for that child that is confused, that is going through that emotional wreckage in their life. Let's put it that way, because they still need to envelope them or hug them or embrace what it is that they're going to make them be better.
Yeah, because during them times too, Claire, that's where the innocence is there.
It's put
And
to
then
the test.
and if they're not, if you don't have them on the right pathway, they can be robbed of the innocence in such a way, and it may not be a very pleasant way. Yeah.
And here they said simply ask questions and listen without judgment can be majorly influential. Ask non-threatening questions that help them define their identities. Questions such as, who do you admire and why? What are your hopes for the future? What are your strengths? To create a non-judgmental environment, listen more than you speak. Ask open-ended questions to encourage them to think through the answers as opposed to just saying yes or no. Match their mood to help your teen feel like you understand where they're coming from. This is where we have to throw down the parent cap now and pick up words. You become that person, that person. Then if you can go back to the time when you were going through what you were going through and you think of some things, that's when you can have the conversation and say, what you're going through, I've been through it too. You're going to say, what? And how did you survive what I'm going through now? Then you ask, well, what are you going through? How do you feel? You know? And when they say what they feel like, so, okay, this is what I did when I was going through that. I'm not sure if it's going to work for you, but you can try it and we can continue to try things until you feel comfortable in your skin and where you are. Because that shot their confidence, what they're going through, the hormone changes and everything, they feel that everybody that watch them seeing they have their pimples, their voice break, they're smelling perspiration, even though you put on what deodorant on them, because the hormones is overactive. You understand? And if we do not pay attention to them, they will feel lost. Somebody with a comment. I think communication plays a huge role into this transition. Because if you've been having talks with your children from an early age, it will be easier when they reach puberty. The conversation gets easier, and that's true.
That is
That-
absolutely
Thank
true.
you, Charles Alexander. That is so true. You have to have open communication with your children early.
Yeah.
Because if you're waiting for them to, like some people say, the child behaving bad as ever, no. Oh, it's too early at 2 to discipline them. If they're behaving bad at 2, put blows on them at 2. You can't wait till they reach 5 and say, well, they reach 5 years now, I can discipline. They're already cooked in their behavior. You cannot change them now. So the earlier you have conversations with your children about what's going on in their lives, the easier it is going to become for them to come to you and speak to you about what they are facing. Like my friend that called me this morning, straight out of Calcutta. Like Charles Alexander is saying, the conversations that you have with your children. Like my children will open up and tell me anything that they want me to know. If they don't want me to know, then I have to take a toothpick and kind of drill it out to them. Because I want to know what's going on so that I can help them. I don't want them to go ask anybody else and I give them bad information or bad advice. You know, Candice will call me, Mom, this is what I'm doing. What do you think? And I'm like, how do you feel about it? And she says, well, this, that, and the other. I says, well, think about it. And let me know what you think, and then I can give you some advice. But I wouldn't make the decision for her. Because I don't want her to say, well, you told me to do that. You have a brain. Use it. And then we can have a discussion. The earlier you start, is it better for you and the relationship that you have with your children. You see, some men at the age that they are now, they'll do anything for the parents. Because you know why? They had that close communication. They had that conversation while they were growing up. They know what made their parents tick. Their parents know what a son or daughter is made of. So we can have that conversation. I remember when my son was 11, he asked if he could have a girlfriend. And I broke down the responsibilities of this role. He definitely changed. I definitely changed his mind. So I think she asked him, a girlfriend? Can you maintain the girlfriend when she wants this, when she wants that? Are you working to support that
That's the
girlfriend?
kind of thing. That is the kind of thing.
So that have them thinking, well, I need no money for myself. We're getting money to support that girlfriend. So it makes them think. So if you do not have that close-knit relationship with your children, all of this could be on the back burner. They wouldn't say squat to you. Diddly squat.
Yeah, but you got girlfriend at different levels, man. Not in this kind of serious kind of way.
But girlfriend at this level wants something. Which girlfriend in those days that have a boyfriend that don't want something? They want cell phones, they want air plugs, they want this, they want that. The girlfriends that you and I, the boyfriends that you and I used to have when you were growing up, that's total different boyfriends and girlfriends. We didn't have anything and we didn't want anything.
Exactly.
You understand? We had each other playing around, playing with moonlight, cooking on the beach, doing whatever. This is the kind of girlfriend and boyfriend we had when we were growing up. Not these ones.
No. They're serious. Very serious. I remember, well, just one day it was me and my workman. We were talking about how bold children are now. You see, students walking and holding hand through the street. Not
they have French kiss. I see French kisses.
Man, I'm telling you, I see this true.
What we used to do was skin line jury. You start up and you pulling on leaf and you tell leaf like crazy, you tell me, but no, it has become very blatant and very bold.
Yeah.
And you see parenting. And if we do not, and I keep saying parents, take charge of what is yours. Do not let them go outside and get information that you do not want them to get. They are your children. It is not too late to start speaking. You don't have to rough them up. You don't have to ask them all these bold questions. Be subtle. And you'll be shocked at the answers you will get from your children. It is 1 minute to the hour of noon. We have come to the end of our program. We'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you that came on the live, who are listening out there, and welcome Kathleen Ledlow. Thanks you for stepping in, and we're really, really happy that you're here. Bring more of your friends across to us because the conversations still, as you see, the conversations are still good, and we're only going to get better. So thank you to each and every one. Next week we'll come up with a different topic, Another interesting one that we can get people like Lorna, Nicholas Snack to make a difference for us on this program. It's up to you, sir. Go right ahead.
I will just say thank you so very much once again to the listeners and viewers of this very unique program. We look always seek to edify the nation, not just here, but beyond our shores.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me say thank you to 107.5 Waves FM out in Garnettown, Mr. Terry Williams. Also to Spice Ram, which is We Noise FM in New York 94.9, who brings us live. And to those of you who are checking in on YouTube, check us again. We'll be back next Tuesday, kicking and screaming like no tomorrow. Thank you all and have a great day. Take care. Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester.